And would you look at that? We are now live on YouTube, so brilliant. So for the viewers who are watching this on sort of a replay sort of thing, or you're watching it so it isn't live, right now I'm just going to quickly share the stream with the viewers on Instagram and Facebook, so we can enjoy that, and hopefully a lot more people will be able to join. And yeah, should be a good one. I must apologise as well. So I did say 8:30. It's obviously turned 9 o'clock now. So sorry about that. We've just had a bit of an overshoot in time. We've got the All British show tomorrow, so I've got, I think, 15 birds entered. A good number of different hardbills and a few mules as well. So should be something good and something to look forward to tomorrow. And then we will also be tomorrow not only filming a video from the All British show, but we'll also be filming from we're going to be doing some filming at a guy's who's got some soft bills, and we're going to be looking at a lot of the British soft bills. Mainly will be British thrushes and various mutations. So that's going to be in the meantime between being at the show. So that's going to be something to look forward to, and that's going to probably be your next two videos you're going to see on the channel. Something to look forward to. So yeah, literally, guys, just sharing it on Instagram and Facebook, and then we'll get right to it. So yeah, should be good. It should be good tomorrow. Yeah. So who's coming to the show? If you're watching and you come into the All British, will you just comment? I'd just like to see which the viewers that are coming. So yeah, it'll be good. Just bear with. Just sharing this. Oh, hi Elliot, nice to see you on the stream, mate. I saw your message yesterday. I've just not had a chance to reply. I think you about the cockatiels. Yeah, bear with. I'll be as soon as possible to reply to that. It's just been, I've just had the most busiest day. Literally get up, sort the birds out, do all the feeding and all that. I've had to catch up the reed bunting. So a lot of viewers will remember in probably sort of November time, we had the reed bunting. We brought him in and was really good. Really did enjoy having that bird, but sadly, we are having to move him on. So he's going to a breeder up in Scotland. And yeah, this guy's got a hen, a couple of years old. She has nested every year without a cockbird. He's not been able to get a cockbird. And I think he's tried yellow hammers and they haven't had them. So the rebunting cock is going to there. So I'm taking it tomorrow for the show. And we'll hopefully be able to get some updates on him in the breeding season. I mean, wouldn't it be good if we've helped breed some reed buntings for a guy? And if we do, maybe we'll get some back at the end of the year. Maybe we'll try a reed bunting cross yellow hammer or something like that. Something good fun. And yeah, so it should be good. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, just continuing to share the live, guys, on Facebook and Instagram, just to let viewers know. So if you just joined now, thank you for coming on, obviously, and just apologies for it being about half an hour late. We just overshot in the time of getting everything sort of ready for the show tomorrow. I ended up going out to the pub for tea because it was just easier. Went to the pub and then just ended up overshooting a bit. So yeah, but other than that, it's been good. Football match this afternoon even, so that was a bit crazy. So yeah. Bear with, just doing this. So yeah, busy day, but will be really good fun tomorrow. And yeah, so there we are, sorted. How many birds do I have? So to be honest with you, I've lost count. Be getting up to probably 60 or 70. We'll be working with, I think it's about 25 pairs this breeding season. So it's going to be 7 pairs of canaries, 5 pairs of greenies, 8 pairs of Redpolls, pair of Twites, pair of something special, 3 definite mule and hybrid, bullfinch mule and hybrid pairs, probably the crossbill Norwich pair as well, and then we've got a pair of native bullies, and we'll obviously have the spare birds as well. So it's going to be, a good number of birds to work with this breeding season. So current it's about 60 or 70 birds. By the end of the breeding season, who knows? If we have a good year, it could be 200. If we have a bad year, it could be 150 maybe. But I don't know. We'll have to see and just hope for the best and do the best that we can to prepare the birds for that. So we hope we'll have the best chance of getting good results. So yeah, we could have a really good breeding season and breed a lot. Or we could have a really crap breeding season and not breeding, as much as we'd like. But then again, do remember is that it's not always about the quantity. I'd rather breed, let's say, from the 5 pairs, I'd rather breed 20 greenfinches that are really, really good quality than 50 greenfinches that are all, a bit drab, not improved. So, it's always about the quality of those birds that you breed, not the quantity. But there is also a level of expectations where you're thinking, I could do with, ideally, I need 5 youngsters from each pair of birds in the hard bills, the straight pairs. Whereas when it's the hybrid pairs, especially with it being bullfinch hybrid pairs, I'd be happy to get some full eggs, and then we'll see what happens from there and what have you. So yeah, it'd be interesting, and I'd love to try and breed some hybrids, bully hybrids. A guy bred, I think, 4 greeny bullies from one nest this year with a Siberian bully hen, which is hence the reason we've gone with a Siberian bully hen with a greenie. I'm thinking that'd be a fantastic result to breed a couple of them, something really good, so I can choose the best one and we can sell the rest on. And it pays for seed. That's the main thing. If I can get it so I breed enough birds to make it level, then it's a win, isn't it? I'm new to bird keeping. I've bipolar and find it helps. I've been told you have to have a license to breed and sell. Is that true? Hi, Nathan. So it does depend on what type of bird you're breeding and keeping. You don't have to have a license to breed and sell. There is levels of which selling, between you selling as just a general hobbyist and you selling like a pet shop. I do believe they have to have sort of rules for that. But generally, no, you don't need a license to sell. To breed, no, either. Unless you're talking and it probably in 1 endangered species or 2, something that requires like an A10, so a hawk or your bird of prey sort of thing. There might be, not a license to have to keep them, but I imagine there will be a number of checks, and you do have to obviously have the correct certificates to keep those sorts of birds and prove that they were captive bred and they aren't wild caught. So do take that into mind. What sort of birds are you wanting to breed? Because I'll be able to tell you off the top of my head generally. I need a Siberian bully hen. If you could help me find one to buy, I'm really trying hard to find one. Do you know anyone that has one? I don't. I'm afraid. Really sorry. Buying a bully hen of any sort is difficult anyway. Your best option's buying a pair and selling the cockbird. Because realistically, unless someone's had a year where they've just bred a load of hens, and maybe the odd cockbird, then you're not going to be able to buy a hen. The hens are worth so much money, so hard to come by, and you've really got to get lucky. I mean, I got lucky this year in that I bought what this guy got, some bullies and he bred 5. He wasn't interested in keeping them on, so I bought all 5 youngsters off him, 2 cocks, 3 hens. It worked nicely, and we've then got a cockbird which we're taking to the show tomorrow. We swapped one of them for an outcross, and then we've got the 3 hens, 2 of which are in hybrid pairs, 1 which we're going to breed straight for native bullies. So yeah, but I'm sorry, I don't know anyone with a Siberian bully hen. All I can suggest is ask on Facebook, keep an eye out, and you might come across a breeder who's got a spare hen or will sell you a hen, because sometimes take it into account that if someone's got quite a number of them, and there's, let's say he's got 10 birds to go, he knows that the cockbirds will sell because they've got some value to them for whatever reason. So yeah, thanks for the information. It really helps explain it very well. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Hi, what would you recommend for a bullfinch summer main seed mix? Thanks. Hi, Chris. So I give the bullfinches a Delhi Nature bullfinch mix. So it says a specific mix for bullfinches. So that works quite nicely. It's a more it's a more varied mix than is these standard sort of British finch mixes. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing with these standard British finch mixes, and actually I've done pretty well with them and bred bullfinches on that as a very standard British finch mix. But I do, I've now started to make sure I've got this more specialized mix. So there's gonna be things in there which you wouldn't have a normal mix. So you're gonna have rowan berries, dried rowan berries. There's going to be sort of sunflower hearts, hemp, and larger seeds, so maybe mung beans and stuff like that, because a bullfinch is going to take a lot more, but also do take into account. So bullfinches will naturally feed on the buds of trees, fruit trees, and fruit. So they are very interested in fruit. So if you can offer that as well, if there's an orchard nearby where you could get somewhere of a local fruit, if some area where there's fruit growing, it can be blackberries, raspberries, apples, pears, blueberries, anything like that. Chop the stalks off, throw them in for the bullies, and they'll eat the buds. Raspberries are very good for them as well. It's sort of something that really helps bring them in naturally in condition. So I will be giving that as well. But I do understand that they are expensive. When you want to buy a punnet, a couple of raspberries, it might be like £3, and what. So unless you can get them cheap, then I think opting for something like a raspberry juice or like a raspberry cordial might be better, because you can put it in the water and they'll still get everything they need from it. So yeah, just take that into account. But yeah, fruit and stuff like that is going to be very, very good for the bullfinches. What happened with the mule you thought was fertile? Elliot, yeah, it sadly died, that Redpoll mule. We didn't get it through the molt. I think it was a 3 or 4 year old bird. I had tried it with a what do you call it? A canary hen, and the eggs were clear, so it was a shame. But yeah, then I lost that bird, so I didn't get a chance to have another go with it. So it's a shame, but it is what it is, and we'll have to see. But we have got 2 mules in this year, so another one that's fertile. So it was a Redpoll mule we had last year. So this year now we've got a Twite mule, and the Twite mule's an over-year bird. The guy who bred it had it in a flight with a canary hen, and I think there was a canary cock in there as well. It was a lizard. Now, the thing that threw him off, and the reason he genuinely believes that this mule is fertile, it's 99% sure it is that mule, he'd seen mating with the hen. Now, that doesn't mean anything, because they will, and they're obviously infertile, but they had 3 chicks in that nest, 2 of which were variegated, and they were yellow and green, and the green was from the lizard canary cock in there. One of them was blue. It was a blue coloured bird, which is weird, because I think the hen might have been I think the hen was like a clear, just a yellow bird, and the cock bird, the canary cock, was green, and then it ended up producing this this blue canary. And he said it didn't look like the other hen, it didn't look like the other 2, and it had nothing lizard about it at all. And he said it did have features like a twite. Now, sadly, he had sold that bird before I got to find it, but other than that, it was interesting, and there's quite a possibility that this is a fertile twite mule. So what we're going to do is try it with a canary hen this year. I think I'm keeping 2 pairs of canaries spare, so I'm keeping a pair of Irish, a cinnamon feeder cinnamon feeder hen, and a Portuguese Harlequin cock. So I'm going to try the twite mule with the canary hen, and we'll see what happens. If we get something, awesome, and if we don't, then nothing lost. It'll sit in a show cage. Well, not a show cage, but probably those white cages for the majority of the breeding season. Anyway, and then colour feed in time. I'm going to whack it on red so it does come out nicely. And you bought a white mule that could be fertile, I believe. You're testing that out. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mule man. Yes, obviously. I've just answered that, mate. But yeah, I have finches, lovebirds, cockatiels, rosella, budgie. No, so in that case, you don't have to um, have a license for them to breed them or keep them. So you can just enjoy it and do as you please with them, pretty much. Um, I don't know how long you've been in it, Nathan. However, do be cautious with your lovebirds. I presume you've probably read about it already, but lovebirds are very difficult to house with a lot of species. I wouldn't put lovebirds in with budgies personally. Definitely don't with finches unless you've got a giant aviary. I had a pair of lovebirds that were, this is, I'm talking 4 or 5 years ago here. We had a pair that were youngsters and they were in a flight with zebs, and they'd only ever known that from after fledging the parents. So they were all right, and we had them in a 14x10 aviary, and they were fine. There wasn't much of a problem. So yeah. So just be cautious with your lovebirds, and the same for the budgies, as they might have a go at the finches. But again, it depends on how big your flight is. So hopefully you do get a good result from there, and enjoy it. Thanks for the information. Really, yeah, no problem, mate. I'm a novice. I'm showing tomorrow. Alistair, that brilliant. Yeah, thank you for doing that. That's great that we've got another novice. And is it your first show tomorrow? And what do you keep? Do you keep finches, or are you soft bill man, or are you Norwich? I know there's Norwich at the show tomorrow. I did check. So yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, do let me know, because that'd be great, and do feel free to come over and say hi if you'd like to. It's great to have a number of people, number of novices wanting to start out, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's looking a competitive show. I've got birds in classes. I think I've got a cinnamon redpoll in a class of 6, and my bird's number 6, and I'm like, oh wow, there could be more birds in that class, but my bird's number 6. So it's good, it's healthy competition. That's exactly what we want. Thank you. No problem, Chris. Bogdan, hi. Do you have any bird room visits? Hi, Bogdan. Yes, we are doing. I'm actually filming one tomorrow. We're visiting a soft bill breeder. Will be good. Oh, and he's on the live as well. Hi, mate. But yeah, so we're visiting a soft bill breeder tomorrow. So we're going to be filming an episode from there, looking at all his soft bills, and I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be the first time I've been to a bird room or a place where you get to see the whole soft bill breeding setup. Generally, I've been most bird rooms I've gone to are bird rooms for finches, generally not soft bills. So really looking forward to it. There's only one other place I've visited with breeding soft bills, so I might actually, maybe I'll visit. I have to do one from there as well. But yeah, so we'll be doing a bird room visit then, and we'll probably do various ones throughout the breeding season. I do actually have one filmed at Jack Lloyd's in the mall, but not it was I've tried putting it together, and it wasn't very good, because I was just having to film these little clips. It didn't quite get a chance because I was talking too much generally, and too like excited about the birds to film at that one. So we'll have to do it again another time, but it will be good. First mule in, I've paired Goldie Cock and a yellow opal gate hen. I've them in a triple breeder since October, and they're getting on great. Wondering, should I split them up before breeding? Hi, Matthew. No, don't split them up. Personally, that's personally what I do. I wouldn't. Some guys do. So some people will separate them 6 weeks before sort of putting them back together and putting nesting. So you'd separate probably mid-February, pair them up first week in April again. Now, I've had my success doing muling with siskins. So I've done siskin mule. It's not much different from Goldie Mule, and I did do Goldie Mule this year. But it's just a case of I've just left them together, let them get fit together, come into condition together, and they're more accustomed to each other. And that 6 weeks can make a difference. I've got a mate who had a crossbill cock. He had the crossbill cock from the middle of February. He put it with a lesser Redpoll hen. At the beginning of April, the lesser Redpoll hen went down just in 6 weeks after, and she had a clutch of 5 crossbill Redpoll chicks. So it doesn't take long, and sometimes it's just having that compatible pair to click. So hopefully they work, and if you've had them together since October, it's going to give you the best chance. So do leave them together to get fit. Uh, oh my god, are you really? Oh, live. Yes, yes, I am, Oliver. Yes, yeah. I need to break even. Convert my 5 to pellets C19 reverse lager. Do I need to give them artificial for vitamins, calcium, for, additional vitamins for calcium for eggs, multivitamins, or pellets is enough? Hi, Lawrence. So I've personally never used pellets. I presume because they're reverse lager, they're obviously going to be manufactured in such a way that it's going to give them everything that they need to live healthily. But I definitely would recommend that you do as a precaution. It's not going to harm them by giving them vitamins and calcium, and do make sure you do that. And obviously, you do want to be giving egg food as well to the canaries, especially in the breeding season and the conditioning sort of few months. But yes, I do give them those supplements. It's not going to harm them, and it's best to give it them anyway if there's any doubts, and just make sure you do give them those sort of things because those pellets could be lacking it possibly. Hi again, is the bullfinch mix Deli Nature 96? Thank you. Hi Chris. Yes, I think so. I know it as the Deli Nature bullfinch mix. Um, I don't know it by number, but it does sound right to me. So yeah, do use that. George Lawrence, hi mate. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have them separate cages. Thank you for advice. No problem, Nathan. That sounds good. Just yeah, do be careful, but yeah, do enjoy them. Have you bred any yet? Have you bred any of those parrots and the finches? And what type of finches is it you've got? You should breed English zebra finches. I don't know about that. I've done zebra finches before. I've bred thousands, is it? Oh, a good 100 or 200 of them. And we're talking feeder zebra finches here, by the way. We're talking small, sort of wild type size zebra finches here, not these exhibition birds. I did have one exhibition bird. Sorry, guys, just 1 second. But I did have one exhibition bird. We bred off with a feeder, and it worked. But I'm not too interested in them, to be honest. They annoy me from the meeping sounds they make. I could put up with them, but they also have a breeding season completely different to the natives, and it would kind of throw things if I've got birds breeding whilst other birds are trying to, they're in the middle of I don't know, the molt, or they're in the show season. So it wouldn't really work. I'd rather keep birds that are all in sync with each other. Just a second. Right, okay. So yeah, tell you what, actually, there we are. So yeah, maybe in the future we'll have a go with a zebrafinch. And I mean, when I mean zebrafinch, I mean like a single pair of them. But other than that's as far as I go. I've got a mate who's got zebras. He's got quite a few of them. He's got some very, very good quality birds. Some that won the national a few years ago. Anyway, maybe we could do some filming from there and have a look at them. But yeah, that's probably as close as I'll ever get to going back to zebs. That's just my preference. I keep the temperature around 66. I put the cages next to each other, but my male canary still won't sing. What am I doing wrong? So I don't quite know what 66 Fahrenheit converts to. I know it won't be. I know it won't be too cold. Let me just get on Google on Google and have a look. So 66 Fahrenheit is 18, 19 degrees. Okay. So it's not going to be the temperature that's going to affect that as much. Obviously, a steady temperature that's not too cold, not too hot is going to be ideal. It's going to be what you need. But it is, it is one of those where it's more based on the lighting hours. So I don't know how long you've got the birds on light for, but mine have been singing for the past few weeks now. The canary cocks. We're talking here daylight, probably 8:30 till 3. So, a good few hours. So you want probably 9 hours and they'll start to sing. When you get it up to probably 15 hours, 15 hours in the breeding season, they're going to be absolutely bouncing and they're going to be singing. So, yeah, it'll be a case of your daylight, which is more likely. But I would just say as well, if you are on the daylight and stuff like that, be aware that you could have a hen that's hence why it's not singing, because some hens will sing, but it's not going to be common, so generally they won't. So yeah, probably if either you got a hen or your lighting hours aren't good enough for light intensity. Thanks, Ollie. No problem, Matthew. Good one, Chris. What is it like having red poles? I wish we were allowed to keep them in the US. Oh, you're not? I didn't know you weren't allowed to keep them in the US. They're great little birds. I love them to bits. I think they're one of my favourite British finches. Really easy going. They're not that territorial, so it's not like having a couple of bullfinches or a couple of chaffinches together, cockbirds. So they're not that bothered about that. They're quite communal birds as well, so it comes to mixing them with other things. They're pretty much mixed with anything. Breeding, they're not picky really. They do enjoy, they do like that cover around the nest, but they will nest where there isn't cover, and they will also nest on the floor if they're in good enough condition. We had that happen this past breeding season in 2021. A Redpoll hen just built a nest on the floor and she was happy. So yeah, so they're not that hard for that. You do, I think the hardest thing is the getting your pairings right in with sexing, because you find that some hens will look just like cockbirds. We had that this year. Agate pastel Redpoll. It had been colour fed as a young bird, and it was bright red on the chest. It was like every day you would have said that is a cockbird. Anyway, we had 5 nests of infertile clutches from the hen, definite hen it was paired to, and then that bird laid eggs, and it was a hen. Which was surprising. So there is that side of it, is that they aren't too easy to sex. Hence why I colour feed by plucking the chest feathers of the youngsters when I need to, and more than anything, DNA sexing. Now, DNA sexing is relatively cheap, so it's all you can afford to do it on quite a few birds, but also relatively reliable. There are cases where it's not going to be, and it will slip up occasionally, and that is one of the reasons I send in test samples or sort of test ones as well. So when I'm sending one, generally, and I don't mean every single time I need a bird testing, but when it comes to something else, like if I'm sending in a load of young birds, then I will send 2 samples possibly of absolute known cockbirds to the place, so I know that's sort of your balance. That that's a cockbird, and if that comes back wrong, then maybe it's a case of re-looking. But you send a known sample, and hopefully it should come back right. And it's kind of just as a bit of a what do you call it? Like a calibration almost. So yeah, so I do that. But yeah, the Redpolls are absolutely fantastic, lovely birds. And I do recommend, if you can keep them, do. Do you have to have a license for Redpolls in the US? I know obviously with them being a native species, and I think you get a lot of Mealies and Arctics over there rather than the Lessers. I might be wrong, but I have seen that, and I spoke to a woman who's actually in Alaska. She asked me about Arctics because she got one that was injured, can't fly. She's looked after it since it was young. She's had it for 2 years, and she was wondering if she could actually buy one. And obviously, I can't ship to Alaska realistically unless someone orders that, sort of organises the courier. But she'd found out she can't, so she'd had to get a canary for it. And to be fair, it's happy. So yeah, hi mate, what are you looking forward to breeding the most? That's a good question. It will have to be that spec. I can't tell you what they are exactly. If you've read the Cage and Avery, you'll know what they are, or you've read, what my article the other day, but it will be that special pair of birds which we're getting in. I'm just trying to not give it away too much, just in the event that something goes wrong, and I don't want to let you guys down. So yeah, but other than that, it will have to be the white Norwich cross bullfinch. I'm really hoping we breed a blue bullfinch mule because as far as I'm aware, there's not been any bred. I've looked on the internet a lot and can't find it, and I spoke to a number of breeders who have never seen one. So I'd quite like to have my name down first to breed a blue bully mule, and hopefully it will be a decent blue mule as well. I don't want it to be a bit of a bland one, so we'll see. But I think I've done a good enough pairing that should give us hopefully the best chance of producing a nice one. How much of Redpoll usually go for? It completely depends on the mutation and quality. For normals, 20 pounds, maybe £40 to your top, like sort of top ones. I bought a number of nice Redpolls and good quality birds for £100, 4 birds. So you can't really complain at that. So yeah, so there is that, and these are good quality birds. Remember, so that they were £25 a piece. So it does depend on quality, and that's for normal lessers. When you're getting further up, so cinnamon's at about £30, your Isabel's 60, pieds are I think £150 a piece at the moment. It fluctuates. I'm surprised pieds haven't come down because there's so many people keeping them now, but I don't know. Maybe they will soon, and we'll see. Feos, £250. Pastels, 60-ish. It depends what type of pastel. Maybe 30, 40 for the more common ones. And then you look at something like a brown pastel, probably a bit more. We're talking 60 to £70 a piece on that. So yeah, it fluctuates. Arctics, they're not cheap. They're about £300 a pair, I think. Mealies, I'm not quite sure, but I don't think they're far off the lessers, if I'm honest. Yeah, looking forward to the show tomorrow. Yeah, I am too. It should be good. Maybe because it's a native bird here in the USA. I'm not sure. Yeah, I imagine so. Because it's native, then there will be some control. But obviously, the Redpoll is native here in the UK as well. Most of the birds I've got, bar the canaries, are all native birds to the UK, and at least here, what we're allowed to do is keep them, providing they are captive bred and close rung in the correct size, and you do meet the law. So I have got every single bird I own is captive bred and close rung. I know the sources of every single bird here. I don't know about everyone else, but I can go in and look at all the birds, and I can catch up each one, take one look at it, and I can tell you straight off the perch. If there's a group of 10 of them on a perch, I can tell you where each one's from, and who's related and how they're related. So yeah, but that's just me. Maybe I'm too obsessive with it, and other times I don't know. I think I pay a lot of attention to it. So yeah, so we do. That's the rule in the UK is it's got to be captive bred and close rung in the correct size ring by the BBC or the IOA. They're the two approved ring companies for them. So yeah, but in the US, I don't maybe have to get a permit or some sort of license to keep them. I imagine there will be a possible way, but yeah. Hi, are you saving this live goldfinch bird room? Yes, I will be. Yeah, it will stay. It will stay available to watch on catch up if you'd like to. When you put your canaries down to tie them with the natives so that you can use them as feeders for a second round, mule in man. So, to be honest, probably mid-March. It'll be a few weeks before the natives. I had thought, could I put them down earlier so that we can get a round out of them prior? But I think it's too early, and I don't want to be setting them off too early and then having a bad season with them, because obviously they are an important part of what we do. We breed native birds, and they are quite a necessity, especially when it's going to come to our bullfinch mules and hybrids. We get a full egg. I really do want to be putting that under a canary, letting them go another round, see if one, we can get another full egg, or two, that bird is more likely to be reared. I think a canary is is going to be a more reliable feeder than a bully hen. So especially if a bully hen's a bit hesitant because it's not, I don't know, probably with an older hen it would be, but if it's like I don't know, a mutation bully. Okay, tell you what, the normal Redpoll we've got in with a bully hen could be split for brown pastel because its dad was and its sister is a brown pastel. So if it breeds one of those, obviously that's going to come out a bit different with red eyes. If we did manage to breed a brown pastel Redpoll bully hen, and if it does, it will be interesting. But it could put the hen off feeding. So I'd rather a canary that will pretty much feed anything you put underneath it than something that might not. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we'll put them down mid-March. I'll give them a few weeks to really get all right, and then they'll be staggered anyway. They won't all go down immediately when you put them together in a nesting. But what I would like to do is, from when the bullies will probably go down, is try and get them in line with that. So maybe they'll have a round prior, and then the bullies will go down, and we could time them with that. So hopefully it works. I have a baby budgie and zebra finches having problems with lovebirds to hatch the eggs as they stop after a while. Oh right, that's the egg's definitely fertile because it can. Obviously, if a bird sits on an egg too long, they will realise it's infertile and then leave the nest. Otherwise, it could be through disturbances. So if you are disturbing them too much, it could put them off. Or if it's a young pair, sometimes it takes a few rounds to get it quite right. Hi Oliver, I've got 2 pairs of goldfinch and canaries paired up for muling one side of the brew. Is it a problem? They can hear other birds of the same species a few feet away. Sorry, guys. No, it shouldn't be a problem. It won't really make a difference. Guys will breed hybrids and mules in the same shed as they will straight species all the time, and it don't really make a difference. I think more than anything, it's if them birds are already paired and then they can hear each other. So providing you've not had your goldfinch in with a couple of goldfinch hens for ages, it's then paired to them and it can constantly shout to them. It won't be bothered. It won't pay attention to them. It's going to pay attention to that bird in the cage, and then same for the canary. If the canary's been within canary cocks and has been for a while, has paired up to them, and then you've suddenly separated her from her cock bird that she's paired to and bonded to, and put her with this goldfinch, and she can hear that bird, and they'll be shouting to each other all the time, then it's going to be the same problem. So you realistically know, unless they've been paired up prior, bonded, and stuff like that. So really, it's not going to happen, and you'll be fine. When it comes to light clear mules, do you believe it's the goldfinch or canary that influences the outcome most? The goldfinch every time. It'd have to be the goldfinch. I think it would be so rare for a canary with a normal any variety of canary with a bog standard normal bred from normals. Let's just say an absolute purebred normal native goldfinch will not throw light mules. The only way that it could be possible is if you've got these canaries that then will throw that, and I imagine that's probably 1 in a million. That's very unlikely. It's always going to be the goldfinch that does that because it's got the overriding sort of color over the canary. You're going to pair let's say you put a normal goldfinch with a clear yellow canary hen, a 5 hen or something like that. It's going to always breed dark birds. So the goldfinch is a bit more dominant in that sense, in that it's going to colour that. So it's going to have to be the goldfinch every time. It's going to be a Chèvre pea throat that's going to produce these light or clear mules, and that is the only way that it's going to happen. Most commonly, you'll get it from, let's say, a normal goldfinch that's got white toenails because it's technically a pied bird and it will throw them. But chev's your best bet of producing light mules, because then the chev will extend down the chest of that mule most likely, and you'll get these birds. So that's going to be your best chance. But I do think where the canary influences it is what you pair the chev to. So you got to have a chev either way for the goldie, but you want to be having. I've heard red-eyed canary hens work the best with them. I don't know how true that is, but apparently they do. So you're just gonna have to see what happens with it, and that's the best that you can do, is just see what happens. And I think yellow mosaics, red-eyed yellow mosaics, or satinets, or something like that will be the best to produce these clear mules. Best luck with the bully mule, mate. Oh, thank you, David. I'm going to need it. 3 bully hybrid pairs this year is going to be a challenge, and I'm sure we're going to get very upset. It's likely to happen, but you know what? If then we do get any bully hybrid, a mule, that's the best we can hope for. All I ask from this breeding season with the bully hybrid, it's going to be the first time I've done them, or sorry, tried them, attempt them. Just to get a full egg would be fantastic. Be over the moon if we got a full egg. But then if we manage to get some full eggs and they hatch, that's great, and that's a really big step in the right direction. It shows that I'm doing something right, because they're not easy to breed. Mate, I do not think no one is more obsessed than me. I think my birds every day, thoughts cross my mind, even, oh my God. Muley, man, I am exactly the same. Sometimes I'm like, I need to go to sleep, but I've got an idea in my head. And it can be something where I'm like, if we pair that to that, we could get something like, it's usually mules and hybrids. You're thinking, how does that work? I think, this is not recent because I worked it out ages ago, but I was going to ask my biology teacher, but I think I was up for like an hour thinking about, hold on, what happens if we pair 2 recessive mutations together in Redpolls? So I was questioning, what would you do if you paired a pied Redpoll, a visual pied to a visual Pheo? It's two recessive mutations. How's that going to work? So I was thinking, God, that might just break genetics. Anyway, then I worked it out. You'd end up where you've got all normals that are all split for pied and Pheo. And I'm thinking, actually, if you bred these 2 birds together that are split for pied and split for Pheo, they're not in the same position on the allele, right? So on the chromosome. So you can get both of them at the same time. So I thought, well, if you've got, like, let's say a visual pied split Pheo and a visual Pheo split pied, you're going to get Pheo pied Redpolls. I thought, oh wow, all makes sense. I keep myself up sometimes thinking, how can I make this work? And to be fair, it works, and I do come up with ideas. But yeah, get bored and I just start thinking about it, and then I give myself an idea, and then it just kind of, the ball starts rolling from there. However, trying for mules for the first time, Goldie with an Irish fancy. Any advice for successful breeding? Many thanks in advance, Sammy. Hi, Sammy. So I don't know how long you've had them together, but you must have them together now, so that's a good start. So I'm going to presume you're in the UK, but what you want to do then is probably start of April, put your nest pan in. The goldfinch will have the best chance of filling the eggs when it's in condition, obviously. And the way to tell the condition for the goldies is the beak goes from having this sort of black line down the beak to going completely white. That's going to show that the bird's in condition. So then what you can do is use, that the bird's in condition, get a nest pan in, and let the hen build. So really what I do is let the hen build, leave the goldfinch in with her the whole time. She'll lay an egg, replace it with a pot egg, do that for 5 days or so, then take the goldiecock out, put the real eggs back under the canary hen, and leave her to sit. Goldicocks can be funny, smashing eggs, killing chicks, stuff like that. We had that happen this year with the full eggs we had off the Goldie cross Norwich, and it was I was so looking forward to seeing that pair, because it was a yellow goldfinch cock with a yellow this yellow feathered, intensive feathered Norwich hen. I thought, oh my God, we could breed some fantastic exhibition mules from these, but the Goldilocks smashed them, and I just forgot, to be honest, I forgot to take him out. So yeah, it was a shame, but yeah, so there is that. And do give them things to sort of interact. Make sure they do interact. I don't put them in a huge cage or a flight where they're not going to pay attention to each other. Do get them, just the two of them, paired up in a cage, and make it so they have to really interact with each other. So, put a couple of mealworms in a feeder, a finger drawer, and they'll both want to go for them, and hopefully you might get them feeding each other, and stuff like that. So hopefully that would be your best chance, and just make sure that they do interact. Oh, have you ever heard of anyone keeping goldcrest? I have a lot of them in the garden recently. Beautiful little birds, unbelievably small. They're seed eaters, aren't they? Matthew, I think I've seen one 3 years ago at a show. Is the only goldcrest I've ever seen in captivity. So they are really unusual. I think there's a guy on one of these softbill sites. I think it's SBK on Facebook. So softbill keepers, or it could have been the British Softbill Society. One of those two groups. I remember seeing I think it was a goldcrest, or it could have been a firecrest, very similar species, being kept in captivity. Absolutely stunning birds. They're tiny as well. I don't know if you've ever seen photos of the eggs, but the egg, I think it's the smallest bird in the UK and the smallest eggs ever laid by a bird in the UK. These tiny little things. So yeah, you can keep them. I think there's a very small number of keepers, which would to me then mean there's a very small gene pool in them. So you'll be able to get them by hopefully getting in contact with a breeder, and he might have some spare, or he might be able to sort you out after the breeding season. But in terms of getting out crosses in, it's going to be relatively unlikely. So do be aware of that. And yeah, so just make sure you're aware of that, and just keep an eye out, and hopefully you do get some. Oh wow, I've just gone on Facebook to just have a look at what's going on with the All British show. Staging's all up, systems go. 600 birds tomorrow. There's 120 Norwich, 70 softbills, and 400 British birds, mules, and hybrids. Can't wait. That's going to be fantastic. Wow, 70 softbills. Oh, that's going to be a right show. Really looking forward to that. Wow, it's in a looks like a school sort of hall. So yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, it will be good. Right. Why do birds smash eggs? I have a hen who laid 5 eggs, then all of a sudden she broke an egg and threw it out. Why? Sometimes it can be due to do with boredom, and sadly, if you get a hen that does like to smash eggs, there's very little that you can do to fix that. So it's a difficult one. I have seen that what some people do, if you've got a hen that smashes eggs, they'll get like an egg that's definitely clear, and get like a little needle or something, or put mustard on it, or some spice, something that's going to irritate the tongue of the bird, and they'll put it back in the nest. The hen smashes the egg and gets a really foul taste, and something that does annoy her, so then she won't do it again. Now that works for some people, not others. So it's a difficult one. And usually it's to do with boredom, unless there's something that is bothering her. So if the bird's got mite, and perhaps there's mite on the eggs, she's pecking the mite and therefore breaking the eggs in the process. And when she's broken eggs, she's going to throw it out because it's no good. But yeah, so it's just really check there's nothing bothering her like that, and then if it is an egg eating hen, maybe try putting her off with something like mustard. But other than that, it's difficult. So yeah, I replied to your question earlier, but you misreading it, Alistair. Oh, sorry about that, mate. Let me have a look. To scroll up the chat. The last thing I've got from you, mate, is you're a novice and showing tomorrow. I haven't got anything else from there. It must have not sent. Sometimes it doesn't always put the comments through. I don't know why. But it happens on a lot of this is not just my live streams. This happens on a lot of live streams where it can be something as simple as you've said one word that for some reason sort of clicks, sets off alarm's not right. Just gets recognized by the YouTube algorithm, and they'll then go, that's, I don't know, a bad word or something that we can't encourage. It can be really weird. I bought a Goldie cock for some Mule in, and the yellow hen I have for him was hand reared. The thing is, will she feed? Also, I have a black-headed greenie cross normal. Maybe I'll try and run him over it. So yeah, she should feed. To be honest, a canary hen, especially just a normal canary hen should feed. This is unless you're talking something that's for generations never fed the youngsters and they've only ever been hand reared. Then it's almost been bred out of them. But it's very unlikely. So she should feed, no problem. And if she doesn't feed the first clutch, she'll very likely to feed the second, where if she makes a mistake, because young hens, it will happen. The black-headed greenie cross normal. I've not seen one actually. Would you send me a photo? I tell you what, I might have seen it on Instagram actually, Mule man. I definitely don't breed it with normal greenies, because you don't want to be putting that into the blood, because it's obviously polluting it with different genes of a different species or subspecies of greenfinch. But yeah, do try it. Maybe Goldie cock over that, or even a canary. Try get some mules off them. I mean, I don't know. I presume they're fertile because of how closely related they are. But if they're not, then it might be a waste of time. So do try something with it easier first, and hopefully it does work. But it will be interesting to see. What's it look like? Does it just look like a bigger version of the black-headed greenie, or is it a bit of maybe a darker version of a normal greenfinch, or something? Sending me a photo. Thank you. I presume let me go on Instagram for it and have a look. Yeah, wow. Well, let's have a look. Black-headed greenie cross. Where did you get that from? I presume someone's just. Oh wow, that's an interesting bird. I'll show you guys just 1 second. So that is a black-headed greenfinch cross European greenfinch. Fantastic. Well, it's definitely something different, very, very different. So that's really quite a nice one. It'll be interesting to see what you do breed from it, but don't breed it back into normal greenie lines, because you don't want to. You don't want to be polluting any European greenfinch blood with these black-headed greenies. But it does look a nice bird, so maybe try it as a mule. And I tell you what, it might be nice with is something like a black siskin, because you're going to get the double up of that, or maybe something like a cobalt sort of canary, and you'll breed some darker mules out of it, which would be interesting. Oh, hi Shane, nice to have you on the stream. Hope you're well, mate. Are you coming to the All British tomorrow by any chance? Mule man, you can share it. I don't know. Awesome. It's a nice bird. Just share it. It would be in the foreign class. I thought it would be, Shane. I knew it would be. You couldn't show it as a normal hybrid. But yeah, it just you got to presume that it's probably going to be fertile, because it's two greenie species. So if that's the case, do not breed it with some European greens. Just show that again. That's a really nice bird. I do like that. Very different. Very, very different. Actually, Michael is excellent. Well, thank you, Matthew. And yeah, I do agree. I really enjoy Shane's channel. I don't have a lot of time to watch YouTube at the moment. It's a bit nuts, but I do try and watch Shane, obviously, and the Canary Room as much as possible. When the new episodes are out. Well, mate, I must say I'm going really busy. Oh no, fair enough, mate. Is that at a? I presume that's at a show down your way. I'm trying to think. Is there any? I can't think of any auctions off the top of my head or any bird sales. But yeah, best of luck with it, mate. I hope you do all right with that. I'll have to place my order soon for a load of nesting materials. And anyway, it's going to be nuts. I thought about a black siskin. I can't really source one. Thought about a cobalt redpoll. It's fertile because it's a 2020 bird bred for some. Oh right, okay. Oh, fantastic. Well, you could try cobalt redpoll. What I think would be an interesting hybrid is a dominant to a dominant mutation. So, if you did a cobalt redpoll double factor to a double factor pied greenfinch, you're going to get birds that are youngsters that are both cobalt and pied, because it has to be, because it's a double factor dominant. And I think it would be really, really different, and hopefully would make a nice hybrid. I did want to try it this year, but the birds that I got that I'd thought I was going to try it with just weren't at the quality of which I wanted. And then we got the bully hens in, so I wanted to prioritize the bully hens, because how often do you come across a few that I can do hybrids with like that? Very unusual. So, that's what it's like. And I do think trying these two dominant mutations in pie greeny cross cobalt redpoll would be an exciting and interesting one. Just a reminder of new episode out 10 a.m. Oh, fantastic, mate. I'll have to watch it tomorrow evening. Obviously, with the All British on tomorrow, it's an early start. I'm going to have to be leaving home at latest 7 o'clock to get to Walsall for 8:30 latest, and then so yeah, should be good. But I'll watch it in the evening as well, and then in between that, we're filming the softbill episode at George's, which will be good. So we're going to be looking at a variety of thrushes. I think it is. I think that's all he's got at the moment is like song thrush, blackbird, missile thrush, redwing, fieldfare. I think fieldfare. But I know he's supposed to hopefully get some ring goozles at some point, which will be good. But yeah, so it's going to be a really busy day tomorrow. Now seeing the Cajun Aviary birds, great paper, great job. Thank you, Dean. Really appreciate that. It's had a good response so far. So yeah, it will be a sort of a monthly thing where I'm going to get it sort of wrote. Well, I'll probably get the rest of it wrote up tomorrow and send it across to the editor, ready for the end of February to the first week in March. So it has about a 3-week delay from when I wrote it and submitted it to actually going in the Cajun Aviary, just because of the backlog of stuff. But that's fine. So yeah, and what we will be doing in the next edition is sort of reviewing the Staffordshire. So I will be mentioning about that and reviewing the All British. So it should be good. Really looking forward to it. And we'll see how we get on, and then we'll be talking about conditioning. So there'll be quite a variety of things, and I'm sure the viewers will enjoy that. And the people who perhaps might not have, well, most people have access to the internet nowadays, but for people who maybe don't get a chance to watch channels much, then having a paper, in the Cajun Aviary, just a bit of an update of what's going on, should be as useful, and I look forward to it. Thanks, lads. Best of luck at the Tomorrow Oliver one show that I grew up around. Fortunately, my birds are in green now. Oh right, wow. Isn't that not a bit early, Shane, for them to? Are they in full? Have you had them on lights or something? I mean, to be honest with you, I've cut the show team right down to 4 Redpolls, 4 greenies, 2 bullies, a side bully, 2 mules, and that's it. I'm not taking anywhere near as much because I've been trying to, get the birds getting fit now. So I've got, after tomorrow, put the birds back in their normal cages, give them a day or so to rest and just relax. And then they'll be going out to the flights, and it's going to be really busy this week, sorting everything out, moving birds around. and starting to get them all fit. So should be good. But yeah, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that, and hopefully we get a good result. I hope the greenie cocks perform for me. I've been really working with them to try and get them steady because it's weird. Sometimes they're fine, and other times they're a bit jumpy. But they're really quality birds, and I just hope that they do get me a good result tomorrow. We'll see how we get on. No, mate, all hands on one flight, COVID and cocks in another, and as the current condition pull feathers out of each other. Jesus Christ! Wow. For the start of February, that's it does seem quite early actually. Yeah, it's going to be 2 months before I'm pairing up. But yeah, no, fair enough. If they're fit, then it's going to happen, isn't it? I think. Actually, Shane, I think it was you who said, was it chaffinches on eggs and rearing in February or March or something? My mate has greens on eggs at the moment. Jesus Christ, that's early. It's weird, isn't it? Because it's been relatively mild this winter. So it's understandable that they are slightly earlier, but I'm worried about it throwing them off. Because I have noticed the canary hens are a bit more like that. And I just don't want to start them too early because I know that May, June, July, the feeder canaries, they need to be available because if we've got chances of bully hybrids and mules, I would not want to be taking risks. Yes, that was my mate's second week in Feb 1998. Right, yeah, I thought so. I remember. I think I remember you mentioned it in video a while ago. Jesus, second week in Feb. That's crazy. I know. I think it was Michael Stevens put on the crossbill group in December. He got finches on eggs. They'd gone to nest. I've not seen much with the crossbills yet, and usually people have got crossbills down now, which is weird. I think there's one guy who got some crossbills on eggs, and I think a cockbird trashed the nest, and he put a photo on Facebook. But that's the only thing I've heard about the crossbills leaving. The rest of them, I've not heard anything with crossbills going down, which is weird because they are usually an earlier breeder, But can't believe that chaffinches in February. Do you know if his greenie eggs, the greenie eggs are full or if they're at the moment? I have two hens playing with paper still, and I do not think I'll put them down before first week in April. Yeah, you'll Mule in Manchester. You'll probably find that you might, if they're really wanting to go down, I'd pair them up start of March and they'll be fine. I know that quite a few canary guys have already got theirs on. I think there's a chap who's got some rearing chicks. I know Alexandra, who gave us the Portuguese Harlequins, has got chicks. He's got them being reared now. But I think these are all on artificial light to get them early, ready early, breeding now, molting in the summer, ready for the shows come sort of September, October time, whereas the British birds are going to be different. The British birds are probably in best show condition January. So yeah, it's different. Let's have a look. I used to show as a junior but left the hobby, but I've just returned after years out. I keep hardbills, mules, hybrids, a couple of softbills and Norwich. I'm showing 24 birds tomorrow. Fantastic, Alistair. Thank you very, very much for sharing that. And I wish you the absolute best of luck tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on. And yeah, please do, if you feel free to come over, have a chat, and I'd love to see your birds and see how you're getting on with them. It's great that you've you've returned. Clearly, you did enjoy it in your younger years as well. Yeah, hardest part is trying to hold the birds back down to get these things out. You're not kidding, Matthew. Absolutely bang on there. I've been playing with the idea: do I put the nest in for the crossbill Norwich mule pair? I don't think the crossbills are going to be ready because it's now an over-year bird, and it's February, and it just seemed to be going in the right direction. But I don't think the canary hen is. But I'm thinking, well, do I put the nest site in? I'm thinking, I might try it, and I think it's still too early. I think maybe March is the time, another month, and we'll look at it and see where the canary hen's at, because that's what's limiting it at the moment. Good luck tomorrow, Stan. Thanks for replying. You were Jen. Awesome. I'll mine it together, although no nest, no material. Oh right, okay, fair enough. Well, if they're raring to go, then it depends. If you just want to breed canaries straight, then maybe let them go down. But it's dependent on how long the light is as well. You don't want to be letting them go to nest when it's too there's not enough light hours, because then they're having less chance to feed the chicks, less hours to feed the chicks, and then you're going to get chicks that aren't growing anywhere near as fast as they would if you bred them in the higher hours of light. That's something that's always mentioned with the later bred birds. Sort of, it's a lot of greenies, I think, bred in August and stuff, that then they're fed less because they're bred later, so they are not as developed until sort of December for the shows, whereas you might be all right in November for the others. And then even first round of greenies, at least what I experienced this year, first round of greenies started molting like 2 weeks before the second round started molting. There's about a month and a half age difference of these birds, or a month age difference, but only 2 weeks between them, because these birds that were in the second round were bred in the longest hours of daylight. They got more food put into them, and they developed more. So I think that's why second round's always going to catch up with the first round a lot. So it's interesting. So just be aware of the light hours. If you're going to put them down, you don't want to bugger it up and lose chicks from it. Here in the US, start breeding canaries at the beginning of February. Oh right, okay. Well, I guess it does depend on your light hours as well. It's to be fair, it is similar, I think, in the UK generally. For most people who breed canaries, if they are canary men, then you're going to find that most of them do sort of have them on this artificial light, so they are ready earlier. I know, like I said, a number of people have got them already down on eggs and starting to build, where I'm not even looking. It's going to be a month before we'd look at even pairing them up for the canaries. And that's just me. I want them in sync with the natives, so we have the best chance of using them as feeders, and using them for those important birds that perhaps are harder to breed. Those special ones that we are getting, those exciting new ones that are coming as soon as possible, if they do need to, but also the bully hybrids. I need to make sure that the canaries are available to take over, because I think we might need it. And I just don't want to take the risk. I think for the canaries, I'll leave till March, and for greenies and house finches, I will leave till April. Yeah, I think that sounds good, mate. I'll be definitely doing the same with the natives. Canaries will probably be mid-March, so yeah, be good, and hopefully you do get a good result from that. Getting back to muling, can the goldfinch cock be reintroduced after the eggs have hatched and to help with feeding? I've not tried that, Tony. It's not saying you're wrong, but I've not tried that. So give it a try if you want to, and hopefully it does work. But to be honest, I don't think a canary hen will need much help. They're pretty good as it is with them. And I personally, I'd not, because I wouldn't want to take the risk of a goldfinch smashing up the young canaries. I'd rather just sort of the young mules. I'd rather just leave them to it. The hen's more than capable of rearing them on her own, and you just don't take that risk there if there is a problem that Goldie won't smash and kill the chicks, because then you'd be gutted. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, no problem. Awesome. So yeah, it's a few months off. We're talking 2 months until the birds are paired up. We are. I don't. There's that one pair of birds to get in now, and I think that's it for this side of the breeding season. I'll be going to Stafford more for the day out because I love it. It's really good fun, than to buy anything. And I'll probably take a few birds as well. There'll be a couple of bits that I'll just have to sell because, those spare ones, whether it be canaries. I think there'll be a pair of canaries to go, or two greenies. We've had quite a number of we've got a good number of outcrossers now, and we've got one more coming. That does remind me, actually, we've got one more coming, which I'm going to have to pick up at some point soon. We were supposed to get it at Nantwich, but obviously that was cancelled, and it was supposed to get picked up for me at Nantwich, and was, with it being cancelled, I couldn't get the bird, so we're going to have to go and fetch that, and that's over the other side of the Peak District for me, which is annoying. So it's it's a good hour and a half, 2 hours to go and get this bird, but it's a good bird from a really good line, so I'm happy to go and do that. But yeah, it's just a shame because it's ideal picking it up at a show, if you get me. So yeah, so that's what it's looking like. I think there'll be 2 pairs of greenies to go. I think it'll be a cock and a hen that we've bred this year, and possibly 2 we bought in that are just not going to quite fit where we need to this year. But what I might do is like loan them out to someone. If someone wants a pair, a young lad, or what, a young person starting out with them, or what, I'd rather give them the pair and say, have a go with them. Keep all the youngsters, just give me the pair back after the breeding season, and we'll go from there, or something like that, or give them the pair and just give me a couple of youngsters back, or something like that. Or if someone needs a cockbird, you can take the cockbird, give me the cock and the youngster back, or something like that. Help people, and then they help me back, and we both benefit, and it'll be good. So maybe we'll do that, and it's something useful. What seed do you recommend for getting a Goldie into breeding session? There's a variety. So a mixed conditioning seed you can't really go wrong with. I think you want dandelion seeds on there, which really do make a difference, especially with green finches, but it does with goldfinches as well. Thistle, Niger, but in small amounts. Like, I'm talking small amounts here. You don't want to be overdoing it because it's a very oily, very fatty seed, and you don't want to be getting the bird like fat again when you try to bring it into condition. I think there's various sort of grass seeds as well. I can't always think of some off the top of my head because there's such a variety in these mixes. I can't always remember them. But just try and buy a general conditioning mix will be fine. Deli Nature they do a wild seed, which I'm trying this year, and I tried health seed last year. Both worked well. Both did what they needed to. So yeah. And it's good mixes. So I'd recommend try and get that rather than these straights, the straight seeds, because it's cheaper to buy it in that, and you get these mixes like that. Blue Mule's a useful one that's in these mixes. It's a natural sedative, so it does calm the birds down a bit, which is why I give it in the run up to like bonfire night and New Year's, so it keeps just kind of takes the edge off it for them with fireworks. So I do recommend trying that. Especially greenfinches. Fucking nightmare greenfinches when it comes to fireworks, because they just get frightened so easy that then just never quite, and it throws them, and they'll throw feathers, and it's like, look what happened in the breeding season. We had 3 cobalt Siskin cross Redpoll hybrids, and all 3 of them died because someone let a firework off in May, scared the hen off the nest when the chicks were about 4 days old. The chicks froze to death in the night. Absolutely gutted, because they were beautiful. I mean, absolutely stunning hybrids, and they're literally, these are babies. You can see the feathers coming through. They were like black with gold with gold bars on the wings. I'm like, oh my god, these look awesome. And someone let a firework off, and it killed them. I was gutted. So yeah, there's just there's that. So it was a useful, Blue Mule's really useful because shit like that happens, but you can't really account for it in May. If it's going to happen in May, So annoying. People say at 10 days you can reintroduce the Goldie. Yeah, to be fair, I've heard such a mix of things. That it's just how I do it. Is I'd reintroduce the Goldie once the chicks have been weaned off, just because I don't want it in fighting with them, and I'd rather make sure that they're safe and they're good, rather than risk them to try and get the next round out of them. But that's just me. I think it depends on the actual gold. I think it depends on the Goldie cock as well. Do remember, you're going to have those birds that don't quite fit the general standard, which you'd expect. Pardon me. You might expect a Goldie cock to smash the eggs, and this one will be nothing of the sort, and it will feed the youngsters and look after them. But you get others that will take one look at the eggs and put its beak straight through them the day they've been laid, the hour they've been laid. So, yeah, it's all up to what you prefer. And if you want to introduce it at 10 days and it works, then that's good. But if you don't want to, then that's equally as fine. Good luck tomorrow, all of yourself. Thank you, mate. I look forward to seeing how I get on, and hopefully it goes all right. Rich Warburton's had a really good year on the novice scene. His Redpolls have done fantastic. So I'm hoping if he is showing tomorrow, I might be able to get him on it. The greenies are looking good, and I just hope they really perform tomorrow. The Redpoll's looking good. The Cobalt I've picked out to keep for the show, obviously this last show, looks fantastic, and I hope it does do something. The normals I've decided I'm taking one, which is a hen. The markings are good. The colours not brilliant, but the markings I think do make it a nice bird. But I don't, I'm not showing those that we bought in, those really better quality ones for this year. Those youngsters, because one, I didn't breed them, and two, which is a bit more of it, is that they just I didn't want to be bringing them back, fattening them up, and then stripping it all off them within a matter of weeks. I'd rather, do that from the start of this show season. But yeah, so they're happy anyway, and we're all right, and we'll be showing those from next year anyway. And I think we'll have a much better show scene. Show team next year. If we have a good year this year, we've got a lot better quality, and I think it's really going to help pick up this breeding season. If we have a good breeding season, we breed off those quality birds and get good results. We've got 3 cock birds to work with, which is from Shane's line, and we've got the original one that was he's going to pair to one of his daughters to preserve the blood, and we've got two brothers that are going to pair to 2 half sisters of theirs. Very good birds, and very good colour on them as well. So really looking forward to seeing how we get on with that, and I think it's going to help by keeping the blood a bit closer there, maintaining the quality, and improving on it with those better birds, which we're keeping, obviously. And then we've got 3 outcrossers, 2 of which will obviously be used at any one time, 1 of which will sit spare. And I hope that by pairing them into a mix of both the hens from Shane's line and those I've got previous to, which were good quality birds, will bring the quality out in them and get some decent youngsters. And I hope it works. I really, really hope it works. It will be nice if it does. So we'll see how we get on, and just got to hope for the best, and we'll go from there. And obviously, mules and hybrids, we had a Twite mule for the shows this year. He's come first in his class, but I didn't expect him to go anymore. He's not the most exciting bird to look at when you look. You compare him to the likes of a really nice yellow Goldie mule, but hopefully with a bit of colour feed and a bit of steadying down over this breeding season, he'll be a much better bird to have. And then we've got that cinnamon pie greenfinch mule hen. for the show tomorrow, and then that'll that'll be her last show for this side of the year. But I'd just like to have maybe a bully mule or a bully hybrid to take to the shows come the end of the year, after the breeding season, and we'll see how we get on, and hopefully it goes all right. I mean, just remember, with how with me having a number of spare birds, which we're always going to inevitably have, because I don't want to get rid of them, because if we lose something, I need to have something available to take its place. When I've got a canary hen free and there's a Redpoll cock, I'm going to put the Redpoll cock in with that canary hen before there maybe be needed as 2 spare birds, and just hope something works. Or it can be as simple as I turn up to Stafford and there's a really nice, I don't know, yellow Czech dominant Siskin cock. Then I'm going to probably buy that, and we'll try it with an Irish fancy or something, and we'll just mess about with them. I enjoy doing that. I tell you what, actually, a bit of a let me just quickly answer these questions, and I've got a bit of a spoiler for you, a bit of something to look forward to. Best of luck to everyone this breeding season. I need to go. Take care. Love your channel. Very informative. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the videos, enjoy the channel, and really thank you ever so much for joining the live. And just, guys, by the way, if you can, do put smash a like on this. Just to give you a quick overview of how it happens, the more likes you get in a video, the more people it reaches. Therefore, the more exposure we can give to the hobby, more people that will see it and be able to enjoy these videos. And it'll just it helps open more doors. So if you can like the video, and every video for that matter, please do like them, because it really helps get the video out there to more people. More people get to enjoy it, learn, and hopefully more people to join. So please do keep the likes going on them. So yeah, do you like Gloucesters, Bogdan? Yes, yeah, I've got nothing, no problems with Gloucesters. They're just not a bird that I'm looking to keep, because then they're not they're not in my interests, in that they're not muling birds generally. They're not feeders for what I need for the natives, and they're not natives, so they don't have as much of a place here. I wouldn't be opposed to having them, but really, if I'm going to be breeding a straight breeding canary, it's going to be in Norwich. And then we obviously started to develop a line of feeders using the new colours, the Irish, the Razzers, and those already crossbred feeders. And I probably might throw the Portuguese Harlequins in there as well, and we'll try and build some up. Best for conditioning is oily seed, chai, rapeseed, linseed, hemp. Fantastic. Thank you, Shane. So some of it's off the top of my head. I know rape's quite high in fat, so yeah, it does make sense as an oily seed. Hence why actually you put out in germinated seed. I know. I presume you will know, Shane. But so I've not bought any seeds since December, or like early December or November sort of time. And I went to the feed store the other day, and like, I bought a couple of bags normally, which will cost me 120 quid, and the guy was like 180 pound. I was like, "Are you joking? What? Why?" So I had to check the prices, thinking, "Has he put anything down, wrong quantity, thing like that?" Turns out the price of rape has doubled because of, I think, Brexit, COVID, and a bad year. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's just cost me 180 quid for seed that I'd usually spend 120 quid on. It's nuts. So I know the price of rape's really gone up. So I'm hoping it comes back down, but you don't really use it in the breeding season, rape, as much. I have a rape-free breeding mix for them. Obviously during the breeding season, and the only way they'll get rape is in conditioning mixers and germinated seed mixers. So yeah, but can't believe how much it's gone up. It's nuts. Best luck for tomorrow, mate. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it, and fingers crossed. We have a good result. Bogdan, here mules are infertile. Is that true? Yes, it is generally, Bogdan. The mules are generally infertile. You're gonna get those that don't quite fit that. So you're gonna get fertile mules now and again. So I know. So Shane, I don't know if Shane's got this exact bird, but Shane's bird partner Mark had a cross-billed greenfinch hybrid, so not a mule but still a hybrid, and it was fertile, and it bred with a greenie hen to make three-quarter greenfinch, quarter crossbill, and I think they've then bred back. So it's to my understanding that Shane's still got a couple of birds descended from that are something like, I think I worked it out, 82% greenfinch and 7.5 and 17.5% crossbill. I might got that right. I might got that completely wrong. But it's something like that. I think there's something like 5. What would it be? 3/4 greenfinch, and then you put another greenfinch into it. So it's 3/4 to a quarter. So then you go to what, 4 out of that. So 7/8 greenfinch and 1/8 crossbill. So yeah, they can be fertile, but generally as a rule they're not. Red siskin mules is how we got the red factor. So you know they are more commonly fertile, but I think again it's one of those where they'll be more fertile after a few years. So as a rule, they're generally not, but you do get those unique birds that aren't, and then that are fertile, and that's where it gets really exciting. I think I have been told that that's how the Feo Redpoll came about, was from a Redpoll mule, and then they made Feo Redpolls. Now I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been told. And if it's true, then you know that Feo Redpolls have got an element of canary in them because of a fertile mule. Hi, Dan's Aquarium. We use black currant juice for them. I presume you mean the bullfinches. Yeah, so we're probably going to be black currant. If I can't get raspberry, I know raspberry is the best, or some sort of thing like that. Maybe raspberry, blackberry. But I do think the cordials, those, you know, that juice, putting it in the water, it can't harm them. I think it would be really quite good. So yeah, we are going to be using it, and we're going to try it on them all. My concern is with the white Norwich cross bullfinch. If I go put in some red coloured juice into the water, I don't want the Norwich either one coming out sort of pink, or two covering itself in it and looking really weird. So yeah, but I will try them on it. I think it will help and make a difference coming into condition for the bully hens. We'll just hope it works. There's a theory that European Sarin created lizards. Yeah, I've heard the same. I can't see why not, and it does make sense. You know, siskin mules have a very similar sort of thing to that. I think it's generally siskin mules are more likely to be fertile than something else. I mean, I'd love to see. Sorry, guys, excuse me. I'd love to see something like a fertile bullfinch, you know, canary bully. I think that'd be brilliant, because it could really throw some interest in youngsters. I mean, it's like that Twite mule I've got is you know, quite likely fertile, and if it is the case, you know, we could get something interesting come from there. What does excite me is if we could. I'm going to cross it. I'm going to put the Twite mule with a cinnamon canary and see what we breed. If we do breed anything, it means the cockbirds will be split for cinnamon. Well, we've got a pair of twites, and if we breed any twites, I'd be quite interested in putting it back to it, because if we could open the door to colour variant twites, like cinnamon twites, that's really quite a breakthrough. That's massive. So it will be interesting. And yeah, I'll tell you what, I do need to show you a quick photo. Oh, sorry guys, I've just got a message here from Shane. He wants something to share in the live. Bear with. Whoa. Okay, guys, just on that subject of Goldiecock's feeding youngsters, and do you leave the Goldiecock in? Well, I've just been sent this by Shane of the Bird Room, of a Goldiecock doing just that. So as you can see, he's obviously feeding the youngsters there. So that is a case of where it does where a goldiecock is doing a good job, which is brilliant. But just remember that's not always going to be the case. So it's just a case of you making that judgment. Hopefully something works. Um, yeah, yes, mate. Crazy press. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? With the rape seed and stuff. I'm just like, I can't get over it. I'm just thinking like, Jesus Christ, I need to sell some more birds to try and what I try and do is if my hobby can just sustain itself in that they pay for themselves in that sense, I'm really happy. Sure, I'm always going to get carried away and spend a bit too much money on some birds because I want them and I get too excited. Um, but for generally sort of looking after themselves in the if they cover their own feed costs by breeding and a couple of youngsters, it's good. And it's good for me. How do you deal with birds in school? Well, I'm at uni now, so it's just a case of doing it in evenings. Now there is quite a bit of stuff going on with uni in that it's not full time. Well, it is full. It said it's full time, but it's not. So it might end up where I might have 2 days off or 1 day off a week. So I'll go in 3 or 4 times a week. But then I might only need to go in an afternoon for lectures. So I've got the morning free on one day, and then I might have a morning lecture and then the afternoon free in another. So it fluctuates. So I'll do stuff with the birds then, weekends, and there's that. But generally, what I'll do is on a Saturday or a Sunday is sort of a big busier day. So all feed is replaced like that, or water's cleaned down, and all of that, clearing up any bits that need doing. But then in the week, it's more sort of right, refresh water. It's a 15-minute job. Top up food. It takes 5 minutes, or anything like that. So it's manageable like that, and I'm always going to find time for them because it's my escape from the sort of other things. So you know, I'd sooner go and sit in the bird room for an hour, watch the birds, and do that sort of stuff than I would um, sort of sit and play on Call of Duty or something on the Xbox. That's what I do. I prefer it, and I enjoy it more. So yeah. Um, Wish you every success tomorrow, Ollie. Looking forward to the two upcoming videos over the next week, and we'll be watching the bird room tomorrow morning. Shane, you're both doing wonders for the hobby. Thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate that. Um, yeah, so just to give you an idea of what's going on with those next few videos, so it's going to be looking at the All British. So we're going to be doing videos from there. It's going to be a tour of a load of soft bills, which is going to be really good fun. It's going to be looking at the birds as we've moved them out to the flights. So we're going to be moving that, and I'm going to be showing you how we've sort of arranged them, and taking a look at the differences. I mean, Redpolls, the first Redpolls I've heard squealing in ages, finally, just from them getting slightly fitter. And then we've got that new pair of birds coming hopefully soon. Avian flu's got in the way in that they are in an area where you have to, it's controlled, but it's not the super high level, it's the mid level. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that. But I think it's only be a few weeks, to be honest, because where they did die is, it was at a captive place. So it does mean, yes, yeah, I did, Shane. Sorry, I've just seen that. Yeah, I showed it a second ago, guys. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll show it you again, just in case you missed it. On the subject of the goldies, you can see a goldie feeding the chicks at a few days old. So yeah, just proof that some cockbirds will do fine and will do the job, and then you do get others that don't. I had a goldie cock this year that smashed the eggs because it was bored. But yeah, and you get ones that are fantastic like that, and they'll feed the youngsters. Any tips on building a small balcony aviary? Yeah, so realistically, if you're on a balcony, it means to me that you can't really get vermin to it, so you're not going to have rats or anything like that from underneath. So do make sure you're careful with that. Do make sure you fasten it down. Obviously, I don't quite understand, what your balcony is like. So if you've got a balcony from let's say an apartment, it's going to be quite high up and smaller. But maybe you've got a balcony of a penthouse in London. So it might be different. But yeah, so there's that. Make sure the birds have got shelter out of the draft so they can keep warm, and they can get out of the elements from there, and do realistically, if it's on a balcony, it's going to be a bit more exposed as well. So if there is any sort of falcons, hawks, or anything, it might be worth double meshing it. And do make sure you also have a security system. It's a security safety door, so like a two-door system, so the birds can't get out. You go in one door, shut that door, go into the next one to go in the aviary, and then shut that door and go out, and you can make sure the birds can't get out. So that's what I do, and hopefully it works for you, and you have good results there. But yeah, just a small balcony, if we do something like that, and just make it work with what you've got, and just take into account vermin and predators, so what could bother them. So yes, I tell you what, I'll give you a bit of a spoiler for a really big project that's going to be happening. So to give you a quick overview of why it's happening, so what's happened is the old set of aviaries, so the bird shed that I do generally most filming in, so where we have all the Redpolls and stuff like that, and then there's the flights attached to that. So that's built on a decking that's about 20 years old, or just under. Either way, I mean, I'm 19, I'm 20 this year, which is crazy to think. I'm still like 12 up here, with maturity. But yeah, so this was built when I was really young, like really little, at this house, and it's just over the years has always had its wear and tear. We've coated it and painted it every year up until building the aviary on it, and then it's slowly now, since we've had the aviary on it about 5 years, it's deteriorating. It's really worn a lot, so it's gone from water going down onto it and not having the opportunity to dry out in the sun, and not being coated with paint as much because we've had astroturf on it and stuff. So anyway, it's starting to get quite nasty now, rotten, and therefore not dangerous in terms of rodents. So we had a rat actually chewed some of the wood of the decking, and thankfully I found it. It as like the morning that it did. So I found the evidence. So I blocked up all the holes, poison traps, and then get the gun ready. Anyway, we've killed it for sure because it's took so much poison and it's not been back and caused any problems. Touch wood. So yeah. So anyway, that it means that the decking is getting on, and it's not as fit as it used to be to be used for the purpose anymore. So me and my dad have had a look, and we think the best thing we can do is go through the breeding season. So I've repaired it all, and I've made changes and made it so it's going to work for this breeding season and it won't cause any problems. But after that, it means that we could do with sorting it out. Now, what that means is that the bird room where we've got all the Redpolls and the old set of flights is going to have to come down, which is going to be sad because obviously that's that's sort of my first aviary from when we had the foreign finches and really got started with it. However, that does mean sorry, that does mean some exciting things, because what that means is that there's going to be an area that is at least 10 by 14 where there's nothing. And it also means that we can extend it slightly. So what I'm going to be able to do is rip up this decking, get rid of it all, cast a concrete base that'll be bigger than 10 by 14 because I can make it bigger. So I'll probably make it something like 16 by 12, something like that. So it's going to be a pretty big area. We can then put a giant like shed on it. We can build and then we can build a whole new bird room in it. And I'm going to make it a bird room, not the same layout. So we're going to have the plan is what we'd have is a load of windows along one side for all the natural light. We're going to have a door on the adjacent side. So here the windows are across here, that we can go into. There's going to be cages along the wall there, cages along the back, and flights on the far side, where if we're doing a sort of a 16 by 12, we'll be able to get 6 flights in it, at 4 to maybe 6 feet long, because I'll have extended it a bit. And that means that we can have quite a number of pairs in there and have a load of cages in and stuff like that. So what it means is that we're going to have a bigger bird room, meaning we've got more room for more birds. Now, I'm going to have to be careful with it, obviously, so we're going to have to make sure that we don't overdo it. But what it does mean is that there's opportunities to, we're going to have maybe 5 or 6 flights in there. That's where we can do as mules and hybrids or greenies if we choose to, and they're going to be almost identical to the other flights that we've built, those new set. The cages we're going to probably do, I'd like to do plastic, but we'll have to see how much that's going to cost, because this is not a cheap project, clearly, because we had to rip down a whole shed, concrete base it and all that, and then build something new on it. I'm tempted to even do like a layer of bricks on the bottom so that I've got sort of a safety from vermin, so they can't come up from underneath and they can't directly come through wood on that side. But what I can do is maybe prop up a foot, so it just tries and makes that more unlikely. But yeah, so we might end up building a whole new bird room and have a load of cages in there, a load of flights, and more room for more birds. So it'll mean we'll have bigger cages for the Redpoll, so we can get them. We do pretty all right with the Redpolls anyway, but bigger cages would be better. A more private area for the mules and hybrids, which we can have along the back, and a bit more of a controlled environment, so we can keep a closer eye on them. We can then have more room for more birds, so perhaps we'll start a very small stud of Norwich, a couple of pairs, to build birds for muling. I've not got any interest in showing canaries at the moment, at least. The closest I think I would do is Portuguese harlequins, because 1, there's not many, and 2, I've got the correct show cages, and the decent birds. But that's all I think I could see me showing of canaries. It's always going to be native birds, or at least for the moment. I imagine it will be continue to do so. So it'll be native birds, mules, and hybrids, and I think it'll be good. And we can have a new bird room, something to really enjoy, and we can design it exactly how I need to do it and how I want to do it to have the best results for breeding and all of that. And it should be good. So something to look forward to. Now that's going to be after the molt, so at least sort of October, actually. I think we'll see what we breed, and it might end up where we go to Stafford with a load of canaries. If we breed a load of canaries, and they all have to go, and obviously the canaries, there'll be a lot of crossbreds and a lot of feeders. They'll be going, they won't be expensive, and they'll be nice, and a good opportunity for people to come over and get some feeders from birds that you'll have seen on the channel, and you know these birds, and the parents of these birds, and what they're capable of. Hopefully having a good year with them. So it'd be good. I'm sure we'll have a number of random birds in there, in that an odd bird that has got, it's not going to be any use or something, or we're going to have a bird that's, I don't know. I know that a couple of Redpolls I've got are split for mutations I'm not bothered about keeping. So I know we've got one that's split for agate. If we're breeding any agates out of it, they're going to go, once they've molted. If we're breeding any brown pastels, as much as I'd like to keep some, I ain't got room. And I want to keep focus on the cobalts, the normals, and the cinnamons for the moment. So the brown pastels will go if we bred any of those, which we could possibly do, because we've got a couple of cocks that are split for that. If we breed any mule hybrid hens, there'll be possibly some of those, but we'll see. I can't jump the gun. I don't want to let stuff go, sell stuff that I want or will be needing. If there's any greenies that don't quite meet the standard, or if there's a greenie that's I've bought in that's split for something and it produces a silver greenie that's not going to be of use, then that'll go as well. So there'll be a number of different things, natives and canary wise, and then we'll move the shed sort of section, the 10x4 with all the cages, keep the birds in, a number of birds in that, as well as the older shed and the other flights, and then rebuild a whole new bird room that's going to be fantastic. So something to look forward to for the later sort of months of this year, after the breeding season. But yeah, so it should be really good, and something for you to enjoy. So yeah, look guys, it's nearly, oh my god, it's 20 to 11. and we've got the All British tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to go from here. So get some sleep ready for tomorrow, because it's going to be a really busy day. It's going to be a long day because I've got to get up at 6. But yeah, so anyway, guys, huge thank you to everyone who has joined the live. Really, really appreciate it, and I hope you have enjoyed it. We might do some more, another live stream at some point soon. Maybe not as a monthly live, but we'll do one in a week or so. It's good fun to have you guys on. I enjoy, interacting with you all and having a chat. So yeah, just thank you ever so much for joining. And if anyone has donated on the super chat, massive thank you. Obviously, all the money that if you do donate on the super chat option, all the money goes straight back into the birds. Keep the channel, keep paying for things for the channel, so you guys get better content and more exciting things. And yeah, so just massive thank you to everyone who's joined, and I hope you have enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. So All British tomorrow, and you'll see the update in a few days' time. We'll see how we've got on. So huge thank you, everyone, and take care. And I'll catch you all later.